Alrighty ho, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an episode of Expert Reviews with me, Steve. Hello, we're here with an IS-7 on Abbey. Should be fun. Quickly, anyone remember when the IS-7 had 2,150 hit points? Back in like 9 point something, I think. But let's see what we can see as we load in here. We got a premium consumable, the Russian one, I can't remember what it's called, on this vehicle. We got vert stabs, armor, and vents. All those IS-7 players out there, do let me know what you think of that setup. I have not played this tank in years, so I can't really comment. Now, oh my word, I do apologise. So, we've got 2,430 hit points on a vehicle that has 2,400 base. No doubt the benefit of a level or two of field mods, as we can see here by the option to switch equipment. So, who is this gentleman? Commander... Oh, Mr. Commander Admirable. Well, let's see if he commands this vehicle admirably, shall we? Heading off to the west, it would seem, getting up to that 59.60 km/h top speed. Bear in mind, this is a 70-ton heavy tank, and it has a horsepower per ton of, I think, 17.60, which means, yeah, it's a speedy boy in terms of heavy tanks. It ain't no IMX-50B, but it will certainly get you around, and considering it's wielding 150mm of frontal hull armor, 150 on the side, 100 out the rear, and wielding the best tank in the game. Are we still saying that these days? Best tank in the entire game is still on the IS-7. Let me know in the comments what you think of that statement. 240mm of frontal armor on paper at least, but I mean, it's just god tier. Anyways, who cares about the numbers? 185 on the side and 94 on the rear, I do believe. Nothing seems to be going on here. When you arrive on a flank and you're in a top tier heavy tank with that blends adequate mobility with powerful armor, right? I believe in the garage this is termed as a breakthrough tank, and that does describe the gameplay quite well. What are we seeing immediately here? Both teams have lost 2 tanks right off the bat. Interesting. But if you look at this team list, you see that all of the most dangerous tanks on the enemy team have been lit. VZ's lit, 50B's lit, Panjera's lit, Yapanzer's lit. Everyone is located. We know where all of the dangers are. Are you scared in an IS-7 if you run into a CS? No. Scorpion? No. Lurva? No. Tortoise? I mean, you probably should be, if I'm honest. But that at this point makes me immediately want to go, ha ha, and charge forward down this alleyway, see if I can get position behind the VZ and open up something for my team here. So that'll be my desire right now. We shall see. Yes! I am a prophet! Okay, let's talk gun stats as we move up here. 4.38 rounds per minute gives you a reload of what? 13 point something? 13.14, I believe. Oh, and there is our good old Tortoise. Let's see what 250mm of pen does. Hitting too wide on the cupola there. That's 130mm gun, so you got 490 alpha damage. Goes up to 640 with HE. Ain't that nice? And center shot on the cupola there, beautiful. We won't be seeing any of the premium shells, which are APCR on the IS-7, 330mm of pen on those, which is pretty damn lackluster. You know, we're talking about premium pen on tier 10 heavies. You want to be in the realm of things like the ST2, the WZ11114, the 113, tanks like these that go up to sort of 330, 340 maybe millimeters of pen. Well, 340, we're talking about things like the Panzer Quad 7, the Clan Wars war tank, or things like the 121B, and things of that nature. But yeah, 30mm of pen on APCR is really not good. It means that this vehicle is going to struggle in a lot of situations that other heavy tanks might be able to just butter through. But that's not to say the IS-7 doesn't have advantages, but exposing on this corner like that is certainly not one of them. I mean, we talk about the IS-7, one of the main weaknesses of it is that, oh god, what am I doing? Is that angle that we have through the tracks on the side here. This is a pike nose. What do we know about pike nose tanks? They present frontally. I often recommend the Russian pike nose tanks, the IS-3, the T-10, the IS-7, tanks of this ilk, for beginners at the game. Why? Because they are beginner friendly in terms of the way they play. You point them directly at the enemy and that's basically the best effective armor that you can get. Because look at the sloping of this vehicle. If you're in close quarters, the lower plate becomes much bouncier, and the upper plate still has that angle due to the pike nose. The thing about these pike nose vehicles is when you present an angle, right, so let's say we angle like that, yes, the lower plate will become immensely strong, but you also open up the shot onto the side through the drive wheel here, track and damage, not something we want, but it also weakens this area. Tier 9 potentially, and all tier 10 vehicles are going to be able to have a decent shot of placing a shell straight through there. So you've got to watch yourself on corners in the IS-7. He's just taken a hit from a Lerva tier 8 vehicles pendulum. Yes, with APCR, very good pen, but still it'd be nice to be not taking that damage from such a low tier tank in this vehicle. However, there is an argument to be made in this circumstance when we're being pressured on the 8-9 line that at this point it's worth taking the damage, right? Because you're very healthy. This is a time pressured situation. So you don't really have time to make the perfect engage here. You outtrade the VZ in the Lerva in terms of half damage, 320 on his gun, 490 on yours. So if you can only take one shot and you're trading damage well in a top tier breakthrough heavy tank at this stage of the game, I don't actually consider this to have been that much of a poor play, to be honest. I consider it necessary and pretty decent gameplay. So let's see what we can continue to do. Scorpion appears on the right side there, probably going to get shot into the gentleman to the left of you. But we've got to expect... Lerva pens another one. What is going on right now? Why are we not getting movement here? Like, what? This T-30 and Progeno have been in the same place. Let's tell you what, we've got 3 cam. Let's have a look. Where are they looking? I am curious. Well, he's looking moderately the right direction, I guess. What's the T-30 up to? Okay, they're at least looking over here. That's something. I would expect a flank from them. However, the crossfire from the middle may be highly alarming to them. Like an effective B and a Banask potential crossfire if they attack up here. Now, at this point, for that Progeno and T-30, I'd still say it's worth making the flank anyway at this point. There's only so much damage a 50B and a Banask can put out in the little gaps that you're going to give while pressuring. So it's good play by the Progeno to move up here. Would have liked to have seen the T-30 come with him, but the Progeno is going to pressure into the rear, and these guys are going to get lapped up fairly quickly. Oh, and that's a pen through the drive wheel. Very rare shot to get there into the overmatch region on the underside of the VZ's tracks there. Very rare shot, but it's nice to see it pulled off. You're going to want to angle out a beautiful angle. We've all made that shot at the side of an IS-7 just as it angles out. Very common shot to be absorbed, but the IS-7 side armor will eat that kind of shell every single time. And that is a Conway firing APCR with the stock gun. That thing has some hefty DPM, so we want to be careful working around the corner against it. Is it going to take out the IS-4? It might well do. But it has a big old tongue, and you can't shoot through that hole. My man, you can't. You didn't have an outline. Of course that shot's not going to be there. Look, I love the enthusiasm. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to have seen that shot fly straight through that hole and just decimate that Conway, but ain't going to happen. Now, Conway's just fired and killed the IS-4. He is still going to reload before you. British tank, 120mm gun, very good DPM. So you want to be careful here. You want to respect this. If you take one more shot, you're going to be a one-shot for the Leo PTA, the 50B, potentially the Barask if he gets a high roll, potentially the Pangelo if he gets a high roll, the Jagdpanzer E100 as well. So at this point, I really value my health. It was all well and good taking damage earlier where I was still going to be above a one-shot. At this point, I don't want to take a hit from a Conway. In this situation, I think it's perfectly viable to engage him and kill him without taking damage, just by working an angle against these tanks. He's a very big vehicle with very lackluster armor. I can kill him in the situation without taking damage. Now, I know he's going to reload first, so I'm hoping to see a bit of conservative maneuvering right here, not YOLOing around, because he is going to have... He's loaded. Okay, that's very odd. I don't know if that Conway was ammo-lacked. By all rights and purposes, he should have been loaded there. It's possible that he was so scared about dying that he chose to prioritize trying to survive rather than getting that final shot of damage. That could come back to bite their team in the ass. If I was in that Conway's position, I think I'd be saying, okay, I'm dead, let's just put this IS-7 on a one-shot. But that Conway fighting to survive, potentially, cost... well, means that the IS-7 is now a two-shot for a lot of tanks on the enemy team. Now, I'm worried about that 50B's presence in the middle. It's a versatile position for a versatile tank. You do love to see an AMX 50B on a one-shot, though. That's not specific to a 50B. I mean, you love to see any enemy tank on a one-shot, but specifically for autoloaders, right? Autoloaders thrive on being above a one-shot, being able to say, okay, you shoot me, whatever, I'm going to charge you, I'm going to take your shell, I'm going to bang, 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 and you're dead, right? That's what they do. If an IMX 50B is a one-shot, he can't do that, right? He can't say, I'm going to take your shell and I'm going to kill you, because, of course, you will kill him. So, Batzing a shell from the CS-52 there. We know he's still occupying that position, still on full health the last time we saw him. Alarming. So, as mentioned earlier, 17.60 horsepower per ton on this 70-ton Tier 10 heavy. I like the communication with the team there, telling the T-30 that I'm coming back. It is genuinely really important to do. Use of the R function while typing in chat there, communicating to the T-30. You don't know, right, as a player, you don't know whether that T-30 saw the chat and made a change to his gameplay based upon that information. You don't know. In the same way that when I communicate with my team, when I take a hit from a TD or someone at the back, and I say, hey, this tank is located here. I say it all the time to any members of my team. I don't know if they use that information. I don't know if it ever helps. But information shared by 15 has the potential to be far more valuable than information known by 1. Right? So I always try and inform my team of any information that I can gather, because you just don't know whether they will use that information. Now, a full health T-30 here is one hell of a bargaining chip. Oh, and that Jagdpanzer is taking some hits. Now, you've got time on your hands at this point, right? 250mm a pen on the standard shells of the IS-7. 0.4 accuracy, 2.9 second aim time. Used to be 3.1 back when this thing had 2,150 hit points, so that's a lark. At this point, 7 minutes left. I want to see you reverse behind cover. I want to see you reverse until the bush in front of you is opaque, just so that it keeps its camo and you have a chance to remain unspotted while shooting at this Jagdpanzer. Now, it's quite possible you would be spotted anyway. View range of the IS-7, 400 meters. You spotted the Jagdpanzer here, which presumably means that he isn't concealed enough in this situation, so I would imagine that you would get spotted even with the bonus camo, but it's worth doing. Unlucky there. It looked like you connected with the cupola and probably just hit too wide and bounced off the side. That is very, very lucky. The poke there, way too bold. Against the Jagdpanzer, the man's firing heat. 420 millimeters of pen. That is the highest pen in the entire game. If the man hit your lower plate, if the man hit your upper plate, he was going to go through there. And anywhere on the lower plate, he goes through. Maybe he bounces if he hits there. But honestly, I wouldn't put it past the Jagdpanzer 100 shell to just angle out and magically pen that. It's got that much pen, but even if he hit high, this plate here, easy pen. Like, very lucky not to be taken straight out of the game by that Jagdpanzer there. You're not under any pressure right now. 7 minutes left on this game. You don't want to be playing games with this Jagdpanzer. Now, as it happens, he bounces, which is fantastic. So you're going to be able to do a lot more as a result of that play, but I still think it was a bad play at the time, even if it's worked out in hindsight. Now, what you could have done and what had viability in the situation is the R7's very adept when it comes to reverse side-scraping in a situation like this. Right? You can turn, face this way, side-scrape out, and see if you can get a shell. It offers the Jagdpanzer very few opportunities to pen the side of an IS-7 reverse side scraping with a heat shell. So I think that would have been viable there if you even wanted to engage him while you were still spotted, right? You had the opportunity to do it from stealth, which in my opinion would have been the better option. Let's see if you can connect a cupola shot this time. Yes, indeed. Beautiful. And I like to see you looking behind you at this point. I think it shows a sort of potent awareness, and the Jagdpanzer's not going to reload yet. That's lovely. Poor play by the Jagdpanzer. A potent awareness that, yes, there's a 50B in this game. There's a CS-52 in this game. There's a Blast in this game. All of these tanks are inclined in this circumstance to flank, to adapt, to try and get another angle. Oh, and that's unfortunate to take a connection there. Just a bit of poor driving on the corner. CS is coming up. Okay, that's a lot of confidence for a CS-52. That's a lot of confidence, which would make me very nervous that the 50B is behind him. Right? Like, Tier 8 tank, does he move up that aggressively without the 50B behind him? Like, I may be in my own head here, right? And it's going to be interesting for me to find out without having to pay for it with my life, potentially my viewer's life, but yeah, I'm curious, is the 50B behind him? Because that is what this CS's positioning is indicating to me, is that he has support, which would explain his confidence. Let's see. Ooh, and I was not wrong. Horrific play by the 50B there. Why do you lead with the one-shot autoloader? The tank that can clip him at... Why do you go first in a one-shot 50B? That is an awful play. Oh, that's painful. All you had to do was just let the CS go first. CS takes one hit, and he just YOLOs around the corner and clips out the IS-7. Like, game one, GG. T-30 surrounded, can't do anything. You win. Oh, wow. there are very few circumstances in World of Tanks that you can point out and say, yep, that lost the game. By the way, I've just put something into context. He's got APCR on the 1 key. Which would explain why I saw the green pen marker on the Jagdpanzer superstructure. Which was very weird to me, because with standard AP, that should have been an orange pen marker at best. But it was green, and I was like, is that a glitch? No, it's not! Man's firing 303mm of standard APCR pen for the entire game. Man's got no AP! My AP rest in peace. Okay, well, game losing play. 70 tons of IS-7, maybe you'll get a bit of ramming damage, maybe 20-30 ramming damage here. Might be able to high roll this CS with the benefit of that. Is he going to squish? Is he going to squish? He ain't going to squish, but the CS has got no hope at this point. But this is like a crocodile biting. He's given up. Crocodile biting onto you, doing a death roll. You're just waiting for death. At that point, you're face hugged by an IS-7 in a CS-52. Night. Fine, sir. Okay. Gorgeous. Well, Blasks can do some magical things. Very fast vehicle, 720 clip potential, 360 alpha damage on the Blask with its 2 shells. That's going to be somewhat comforting to you in the IS-7 in this circumstance, because you're slightly above his 1-shot. Yes, he can still 1-shot you with a slightly higher roll, but on average you're going to survive 1 shell. Now, at this point, yes, you do want to get in the cap, but you want to present the tank in the cap with the health. You want to put the T-30 in the cap first, because this is quite an exposed cap circle. And I'd be nervous crossing this land. I'd be presenting what I would have done, because I've still got time. I've got 5 minutes. You're right. Yes, we're not going to chase down a Balask with a T-30 and an IS-7 and kill it, right? Because we are going to end up having one of us isolated. The IS-7 is far faster than T-30, so in a chase situation, yes, there's going to be separation between the two of you, unless you want to forsake the IS-7's mobility entirely. But my worry there would have been the vision of the Balask from the mid, right? We see a lot of Balasks carrying CVSs, which will reduce your camo on the move. Optics, right? It's a tank that a lot of people play as sort of a pseudo-scout. So I would have been very concerned about the angle from here. I'm just above a 1-shot. So what I would have done, most likely, is gone wide here. Because if you go wide, you've got a load of speed from coming down that flank. You go wide, and then you take... Hang on. Then you take this angle. Right? You take this angle in here. And that way, you have, up until here, right, up until around this location, for your 6th sense to go off. If you get here, and your 6th sense doesn't go off, then you can turn and go up this way. But if you get here, and your 6th sense does go off, remember 6th sense only goes off 3 seconds after you're spotted, you're already facing towards the threat position, right? You're already facing towards here if you come in from out wide. And it still gives you the option to travel up here if you don't get spotted. So it's just a lot safer than going straight side on in the IS-7, because although the Balask 190mm of base pan, 248 with premium can go through the side of an IS-7, being that it's APCR from that Balask. So, let us see. At this point, patience is very much a virtue, I would say. I don't like the isolation. You've got time. What recourse does the Balask have in this situation? You play into his hands by isolating yourself in this situation. The Balask in any circumstance likes isolated opponents, but especially in this circumstance. You've got time. You've got 5 minutes. Wait there, wait for the T-30 to come up, and you both go into the cap together. Right? That is what you all want to do, because if the enemy blast starts capping, you are going to get 2 in the cap and cap him out. Right? He doesn't have a recourse to stop you waiting for the T-30 to catch up at this point, because you always have the option of double capping. Alright. And this is going to be nervous. One thing that might have been worth doing is stopping by that lock. Right? You stop by that lock, it lets you know if you get spotted from out there. Right? If you do, you can reverse behind this lock and tell the T-30 where he is. T-30 can maybe go low. Right? Okay, the consideration at this point, you didn't get spotted from the middle when you moved over. Presumably, if the blast was there, you should have been spotted. So do you go out wide right now? Do you go all the way and claim this position? It's viable to do that right now. Just push all the way out, get hold down in this location. It offers a lot of defensive options on the blast presenting anywhere over here to try and stop the T-30 from capping. So I think that's a viable option right now. And there's the blast. Hello? Yo! Did you not get spotted? My man, did you just outspot a blast with an IS-7? Oh no. I'm feckin' know how you outspotted him, but okay. Well, an interesting game to commentate on, and no mistake. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching another episode of Expert Reviews. I do these every Wednesday at 6 PM GMT time, and occasionally on Friday too, when I'm lacking time to edit other videos. It has been a pleasure. If you would like your replay commentated on, then you can send it to replays.wallst@yahoo.co.uk. That email will be in the description. So, thank you very much, and have a good day.
Everybody cheers from Germany, man. Thought I'd write a couple silly verses, my friend. He is a nice guy like Ned Flanders, but wielding a band hammer that make viewers feel him like a gang member, yeah. You better never ever shoot versus the man, cause that's a jerk of his hand, hence you're a permanent ban, yep. Like in a roleplay game, you wield a dagger but get smashed.